Hello everyone, today I'm going to speak about consumer behavior and business buyer behavior. Now let's learn about them. Guys, in our first lesson we learned about the markets. What is a market? It is a place where buyers and sellers come together. And there are some types of markets. Today we will learn about the consumer markets and business markets. What is consumer markets? Consumer markets that the place that all individuals or households that buy or acquire goods or services for personal consumption. What about consumer buyer behavior? The buying behavior of final consumers, individuals or households that buy goods and services for personal consumption. Guys, the critical point here, it is about the final consumers and about the personal consumption. When we speak about the personal consumption, it doesn't mean that it is just about us. We do not buy something that just for our personal consumption. Maybe we buy something for our family, our friends, or buy something as a gift, but that as a result, it is for final consumers and it is for personal consumption. And guys, now you see Maslow hierarchy of needs. Actually, in management lessons we learned about it. Now that let's learn it again. That what is Maslow hierarchy of needs? Guys, this is like you see like pyramid, and we have to say it continuously because that each needs that depend on others. The first is psychological, that we begin from the bottom to the top. Then safety needs, belongingness and love needs, esteem needs, and self-actualization needs. Guys, the two of them, the first, the safety and psychological needs, they are the basic needs. The next one, we see that belongingness, love needs, and esteem needs, they are the psychological needs. And the last one, it is a self-actualization, it is self-fulfillment needs. Now that let's explain what is them. Guys, first of all, psychological needs. As that every living creatures, every that lives, we have some biological needs like that food, water, or special temperature, rest, and etc. Guys, it doesn't matter who we are, from which country we are. It doesn't matter what is our status, our occupation. That we all, because of our lives, that as all lives that we have these needs, they are the psychological needs. Without them, we can't focus on our other needs, because that if I am so hungry, I can't focus on my lesson. I can't implement my other needs. They are the basic needs. Because of it is important for continue our lives. The next one is safety needs. It is about the security and safety. The first from our childhood, the protectors our family that they protect us, and about the public that there is police that they protect us. And that protection, it is not just about the police and this safety. Financial safety, economic safety, it is about the safety needs too. And these ones, psychological and safety needs, they are the basic needs. And the next one, it is psychological needs. Now the guys, the psychological and safety needs, they are as every lives that we have these needs too. Now that as a human, there is actually the differences creates. It is the psychological needs. Guys, we are the social entitled, and that is why we have the social expectation like that. We need that to communicate that with others. We need that to make the relationship with each others. We all need that love, that expectation. We all have that love, the belongingness. It is about our social needs. The next one, guys, esteem needs. It is about the prestige and feeling of accomplishment. It is about there is the guys that maybe because of our status that we have the self-esteem needs, and because of that every human it doesn't depend on their status, they have the respect needs, that we have some expectation from each other to respect our opinions and our status, our occupation. And the next one, guys, it is the self-fulfillment needs. It is about the self-actualization, that we all have dreams, we all have visions for our future, and if we are who we wanted to be, it means that we actually realized it. We realized ourselves, that we proved ourselves, and it is the self-actualization. And the next one, guys, I want to speak about the buyer decision process. You see that this process consists of the 5 processes. First of all, it is need recognition. The next one, it is information search, evaluation of alternatives, purchase decision, and post-purchase behavior. Now that let's explain each of them. First of all, need recognition. What is need recognition? It is about that we define that what is our problem and what is our need. Okay, that we go to shop, market, and etc. Guys, why we do it? Because of we have need, and that is why we do. Yes, sometimes you can see that we do not do it because of we have need. Maybe that we do it because of just a stress out, or it is really good therapy for stress out. But generally, yes, we actually that have need. That is why we go. And the first stage is that need recognition, that we know that what is our need. And the next one, guys, information search. After that we define that what is our need, we actually begin to make the search about this product or service. It is information search, especially that if this product is so important for us, if the value of it is so high for us, in this case that we make that deep research, and now that we actually make that get the information about the alternatives. The next stage, the third stage, is alternative evaluation. After that, getting information, now that we define the alternatives, yeah, okay, and now that we compare to alternatives, that which one actually is more suitable for us. It is that evaluation process of alternatives, and after this process, that the next process, it is purchase decision. In this stage, after all, now that we decide about our purchasing, what we want to buy, actually, which one is more suitable for us. And guys, that survey showed that people tend to buy that most preferred that products or services. But there are the 2 factors that they can change our purchase decision. They can impact our purchase decision. The first one, it is that attitudes of others and unexpected situations. That unexpected situation, for example, guys, that there were some ones that some acquaintances that they actually planned some that events or that wedding, the ceremonies, and etc. But suddenly that for coronavirus, that such kind of the events that are restricted, yeah. And yes, it is that was unexpected situation. And for example, you're gonna buy that new house, and you that about the after the evaluation of the alternatives, you made that purchase the decision. Yes, I want to buy this house, but suddenly the owner of this house, that he or she can increase the price. It is an unexpected situations, and etc. And such kind of the factors, they impact our purchase decision, and sometimes they can change our purchase decision. And the next one, guys, post-purchase behavior. Yes, that you can say the purchase decision, yes, no, guys, that the process is not over yet. It still continues. That post-purchase behavior, what is it? After the purchase and process, that what we feel? We can feel the satisfaction. Yes, we can say that, yes, it was that what I wanted. Yes, it is it. Yes, I'm satisfied with this product. Or maybe dissatisfaction. We can feel dissatisfaction. And there is the other situation. It is the cognitive dissonance, guys. What is cognitive dissonance? And it is that the buyer feels discomfort because of the purchase conflict. Especially, guys, today we know that there are a lot of alternatives for us, a lot of alternatives. And you know that when we make the choice, it means that we reject the others. And sometimes that we can see that if I bought it, that this actually makes us that discomfort, we feel discomfort because of the things that if I bought it. And this feeling, that the situation is called cognitive dissonance. And now let's speak about the new product and adoption process. Guys, what is a new product? As you understand that it can be a good service or idea that is perceived by some potential customers as new. It is new product. Guys, that all new products have to pass the adoption process. To penetrate into the market, they firstly have to pass adoption process, and after it, that if they can pass the adoption process, they can penetrate into the market, guys. But what about the adoption process? What is adoption process? Adoption process is the mental process through which an individual passes from first hearing about it and then to final adoption. Now that we will learn about the stages of adoption process. actually almost every day we hear about the existence of the new product. Maybe that it is not an absolutely new product, or maybe there is then some changes, it is still new product. But really that all of them, they are the successful, they can pass the adoption process. No guys, the most of them they fail and in some stages, but which that products they can pass these stages, actually they can penetrate into the market. Now that we will speak about these stages. The first stage, it is awareness. It is that yes, we see the new product and it is the first awareness about that, we know that the existence about the new product, but there is a lack of information. Yes, we have information, we get information, but brief information about this product. Still there is the lack of information. The next stage, it is interest. What is interest, guys? If that this product, it attracts our attention, we in this case that we're gonna make research about this product, and now that we want to get the deep information about this product. Guys, this is interest. This stage, it is interest. If it is that really interesting for us, if we are interested in this new product, in this case that we're gonna gather the information about the product. And the next stage is evaluation. In this stage, guys, after the actually gathering data, the consumer considers whether trying the new product makes sense. Yes, we evaluate that, yes, it is that important for us, actually we need it or not, it is suitable for us. Now that in this stage, we evaluate this new product. And the next one, the trial. What is trial, guys? The consumer tries the new product in a small scale, that in that case that they can understand better that they need it, they actually want to buy it or not, they can make the purchase decision better. Because of that practically they see that how it works, what is the characteristics of this product, why it is that useful, and etc. That is why that this stage actually helps the consumers to make that better purchase decision. And the last stage, it is adoption process. In this adoption stage, actually the consumer make the decision, that purchase decision. Yes, in this stage, after all that stages, they decide about that, yes, to buy this product or not. And after it, that if they are satisfied all the stages, yes, they make that full sale of that purchase of the new product. And guys, the next one, now that it is about the consumer behavior. Now let's learn about the business buyer behavior. What is, guys, business buyer behavior and what is business buying process? Firstly, that I want to speak about the business buyer behavior. This buying process, it is that of organizations that buy goods and services for use in the production of other products and services that are sold, rented, or supplied to others. Guys, the main difference that between the consumer behavior and business buyer behavior, in consumer behavior, what we said, the critical point is that final consumer and for personal consumption. But the business buyer behavior, the business buyers, they are not final consumers. Why they have demand? Because of that, yes, they want to make that business, that operations, they wanna produce that products. That is why they buy, purchase some products. That is why, guys, they are not final consumers and they do not make this purchasing for their personal consumption. And what about the business buying process, guys? That it is the process, the decision process by which business buyers determine which products and services their organization need to purchase and define, evaluate, and choose among the alternatives, suppliers, and brands. Yes, this process that is called the business buying process. Now that let's learn about the characteristics of business markets. Yeah, guys, business markets that are different from the consumer markets. And now that we will learn the characteristics of business markets, and in this slide we can understand the difference between them better. First of all, we say that business markets contain fewer but larger buyers. So what does it mean, guys? The number of their buyers, maybe they are not so much, but they buy some products that in large scale. Of course, it is the business buyer. They actually make that production, and of course, guys, they are that consumption. They are the purchasing. It's not like us. What I mean about us, about the consumer, and that is why we say that they contain fewer but larger buyers. The next one, that business buyer demand, it is derived. What does it mean, guys? That it is derived from final consumer demand. Why we say it? Because, guys, that why actually they have demand? Because of the day that as a result they actually gonna sell the product. And if there is the consumer demand, in that case actually they begin the production. And that is why we say that it derived from the consumer demand. What is consumer demand? They actually know it, and after it that their demand occurs. That is why we say that it is derived. And the next one, demand in many business markets is more inelastic, not affected as much in the short run by price changes. Yes, this is inelastic, I will say it about the prices, but that we have to take into account the critical things here. This is that for short run, yes, it is like that, but for the long term, it is not like that. Let's remember that devaluation process in Azerbaijan, that you remember that after the devaluations, yes, we saw that great changes that in prices, but this process didn't happen suddenly. This process actually that happened slowly because of the guys that, as we said, that it is that not that so elastic that like that consumer markets. And the next one, guys, the demand in business market fluctuates more and more quickly. It means that yes, we can see that more fluctuations because that it is derived demand, that consumers that behavior can change, or maybe that it's a seasonal product. That is why that we can see that fluctuations that that in business markets and the next one, guys, that the nature of buying unit. Firstly, we say business purchases involve more buyers, yes, and the next one, business buying involves a more professional purchasing effort. Guys, yes, for personal consumption, yeah, we need a person that professional purchasing effort. Yes, you can say that for some that is especially that which that product is expensive and there is that great value for us. Maybe that we need some that professional advice for it. But generally, that it is not that professional that purchasing effort. But about the business buying, of course, even that, for example, we buy something for personal consumption, and among the prices there is just that's a little difference. It is not important for us, yeah. But for business buyers, yes, the capex even that it is so important for them. And the next one, guys, types of decision and the decision process. First of all, business buyers usually face more complex buying decision. Yes, because of the guys, they have to make that research about the characteristics of the product and about the prices, about the quality, and etc. That is why it is the more complex process. And the next one, the business buying process is more formalized. Yes, guys, of course, that this is the formalized, and there is a documentation for all the stages, the purchasing stages. And the next one, in business buying, buyers and sellers work more closely together and build close long-term relationship. What is it, guys? Yes, that we actually about the consumers. Consumers can change that their decision, that purchase decision habit. Yes, that's so that immediately. But about the business buyers and business sellers, it is not like that, and they actually tend to make that long-term relationship. And now, guys, you see the model of business buyer behavior. Now, first of all, you see the environment, buying decision process, and buyer responses. And what about the environment? You see the marketing stimuli, and now you see that 4P, product, price, place, and promotion, and other stimuli like that we learned about the macroeconomic that factors, economic, macro environment factors, economic, technological, political, cultural, and etc. They are the environment. Yeah, it means that the environmental factors in the marketing environment lesson that we learned about that, environmental factors, internal and external are divided into two parts, that macro environment and macro environment, that all environmental factors, they are about it. And the next one, buying decision process, and you see that this process can be that implemented by the buying the center, and there is the interpersonal and individual influences. Now that in next slide slide that I will speak about it. And the next one, it is the buying organizational, some organizational influences. And the last one, it is buyer responses. And it was about the product or service choice or supplier choice, the order quantities, about the terms and etc. It is about the buyer responses. Now that let's explain the all of them. And actually, I do not speak about the environmental factors because that we learned it. Now that I'm going to speak about the second one, that first of all, what is buying center? Buying center is the all individual and units that play a role in the purchase decision making process. That it is called the buying center. And the next one, it is users. The users that are members of the organization who will use this product or services in production, that in operation, that they are the users. And the next one, influencers. Influencers that actually they know that about the specification of the product. They are that actually aware about that. They have the full information about the specification of product. And that is why, guys, they can help us to make that purchase decision, because that the technical, they know the technical size of it, the better. The, for example, the purchase that decision, maybe that it is that implemented by that purchase that department. Yes, but the technical, they do not know that the technical size of this product so much as the technical employees, and that is why that they can take that advice that from them, that they are the aware about that specification of this product. That is why they are called influencers. And that buyers that they have the formal authority to make that purchase decision. They are the buyers. And the next one, the deciders. That deciders can be formal and informal. That they maybe that they have the power, that authority power to make the purchase decision, or maybe that they do not have that formally such kind of power, but informally they have the power to influence and to make that decision about the purchasing. This is called the deciders. And the next one, gatekeepers. Who are the gatekeepers? The gatekeepers, they that control the flow of information. And the gatekeepers can be technical personnel or even the personal secretaries. There are some information, guys, that there is the restriction to enter this information, even that about the purchasing. For example, that purchasing agents are often, they have authority to prevent the salesperson from seeing users or deciders. And this is called the gatekeepers. And now, guys, I'm going to speak about that major influences on business buyers. There's the four kind of the factors, that environmental factors, organizational factors, interpersonal factors, and individual factors. Let's learn about the environmental factors. As I said before, we learned about the environmental factors. There are the two kinds of the environmental factors, the internal and external. And now, for example, that you see that here macro environment factors, micro environment factors. These factors are in the environmental. For example, the economic factor, technological, cultural factor, or suppliers, they are the macro political, the customers, and etc. Guys, they are the environmental factors. Now that the new one is for us, it is organizational factor. What about the organizational factors? Organizational factors that each the buying organization has its own objectives, their own the structure, and that is why, guys, that this their own system, their policy, and these factors that are important that formalize the purchasing decision, and of course that these factors that affecting that to make that business, that purchasing process. And next one, interpersonal factors, that it is about the buying center usually includes many participants that who influence each other. Now that we learned about that participants, the buyers, influencers, deciders, the gatekeepers, and etc. Yeah, guys, they may be, guys, if there is for interpersonal factors that they can make some buying purchasing. For example, maybe they choose the suppliers from that they know they have the acquaintance that make that produce, that they actually sell this product they need, and for this interpersonal factor they can be affected it, and that is why they can choose it. And this is the interpersonal factors. And in practice we can see it, especially in Azerbaijan, the companies actually we can see it that that to make that relationship that mostly that they prefer to interpersonal factors. And the next one, individual factors. That individual factors, it is each participant in the business buying decision process brings in personal motives, perceptions and preferences, and guys, that for personal characteristics that the buyers that who are actually the participants that in that business buying process, they can be affected at these individual factors that now that we learned about it. Yes, and that there is the impact of such kind of the individual factors too. And now guys, that in this actually that model, you can see that the examples about that each factors, the first of all the environmental that we actually learned about it, and the next one organizational, that as we said before, that it can be the objectives, the strategies, the structure of the organization, that it is the actual example about the organizational factors, and interpersonal, it is about the dynamics, authority, expertise and influence, and the last one, it is individual, that it is about the, for example, your age and job position, yes, the motives, your perception, preferences, buying style, and such kind of the factors, your personality, they are the individual factors. And this is now I'm going to speak about the business buying process. Now that actually that we previously we speak about the consumer buying process. Now that we speak about the business buying process. And here actually you can define the differences, that now that there are some steps that they are the same, but in some steps that we see that in, for example, consumer buying process there was no such kind of the things, but we see that in business buying that process. Now that first stage is just problem recognition. Actually, it is same like that in consumer buying process. It was the need recognition. Yes, it is the problem recognition. Yes, it means that actually what we're gonna buy, that what is our need. It is the first stage. And the next one, general need description. Yeah. Guys, as we said before, it is a more complex, that business buying that process and business that buying that decision. It is more complex, and that is why that we need the general need description that what we need. And even that in our that the daily life, that when we go to market, actually we make the list and we actually write that what we're gonna buy. But imagine that it is about the business buying process. And the next one, guys, product specification. Yes, that it is important because of to make that purchase decision, that there are a lot of alternatives and which one have to do. And first of all, that we have to know about the specification of product, and that is why here that actually we need the influencers, that who were the technical employees, that actually they are aware about that there's the specification of product that better than us. And the next one, supplier search. After this process, guys, and we begin actually we know that where is problem, then actually we make that general need description and product specification. Now that we began that search the suppliers. And the next stage, it is the proposal solicitation. Guys, what is it? In practice, yes, there are a lot of alternatives, and you find that about the suppliers, about the alternatives, but how to decide about it, that they can present their products, and via presentation they can give information, or maybe that they can send the information about their products via email. There are a lot of methods, and this actually practically helps us that to make that purchase decision that easier. It is that called the proposal solicitation. And the next one, supplier selection. Then after that, we see the alternatives, we evaluate the alternatives, and after it, that proposal, the solicitation, we actually make the selection that about the suppliers. And the next stage, it is the order routine specification. It means that actually we buy that about that actually what we order, about that products, and what is our order, and we list that the technical preferences of it. Yes, that what is our expectation. Yes, they can offer us a lot of kinds of the products, but which one we want and which that part is more important for us, we write about it, and it is a order routine specification. And the last one, it is the performance review. Yes, after it, that what we said in the consumer buying process, we say the post-purchase behavior. Why? Because the final consumer is that are us, and actually we make that actually reaction, that we actually for personal consumption we buy it. But about the business buyers, no, that they are are not the final consumers, and that is why that they review the performance, yes, about the in production process, and after that from the customers that feedback, they that make that review through the performance. And now that you see that institutional and government markets, guys, the institutional that markets, that they are the schools or hospitals, the nursing homes, and etc. guys, that they are the institutional markets, and there is that government market too, that for example, and government units, that federal, state, and local, and the some that that state-owned property, and etc. It is that government market and governmental units. Yes, guys, it is that now our lessons is over. See you later.